Let me welcome on board Saloni Narayan, the DMD at Retail Banking at SBI. Saloni, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today on ET Now. With a 34% market share in housing loans, onboarding nearly 1,000 home loan customers per day, Saloni, what would you say makes SBI home loans attractive?
Very good morning and thank you for having me on your show. Yes, it is a ongoing journey that State Bank is having, and as far as home loans is concerned, I think we are the preferred bank, and we are servicing every third home loan customer. So every one of the three customer is an SBI customer as far as home loans is concerned. And the reason being, of course, rate of interest is one factor. We are very competitive. But the trust and transparency in our dealings, I think that is the key. Customers have a lot of faith in us. That is why we have been growing by leaps and bounds. And we are present in almost every geography that you can think of.
Yeah, absolutely. Saloni, just wanted your own broader perspective as well on this spurt that one is seeing in new home buyers. While, of course, low interest rates is one factor and you yourself are offering rates as low as 6.8%. But would you say that home loan rates are going to remain low for the next foreseeable future? Or is there a possibility of the curve actually changing anytime soon?
I don't think there is going to be much tweaking around the rates because RBI and government all are very supportive of growth. So rate of interest is a very important factor as far as propelling the growth is concerned. So in the near term, I don't see the home loan rates going up.
Fair enough. Saloni, has, in terms of auto loans as well, has the low rate environment, spurred the demand there for auto, for personal loans, outside of housing, of course, which has seemingly been the biggest beneficiary. Is that so? And are we seeing a pickup on the other segments as well?
So personal loans, yes, we are seeing a lot of traction. In fact, we have grown by 35% over the last year. And there is huge demand for personal loan. I think one of the reasons is, of course, the cash flow mismatch that people want to make up. Gold loan is another product which we have really pushed very hard this year. And we've grown in, I think, by around 15,000 crores this year itself. So there is a lot of demand to be met by the banks. And as far as auto is concerned, the demand is there, but the vehicles are not there. In last month, we found that actually we have not done very well during the last month because vehicles, the waiting time is around 6 to 8 weeks. And naturally, the growth could not come. But I think there is a demand for these small vehicles especially because post-COVID, everybody wants to have his own vehicle to use it as a transport. And I think in this month itself, the car sales have picked up by 11%, and we are going to be part of this increased sales by giving more and more auto loans to our customers.
Fantastic. Also, would these be, would you be looking at secured, unsecured loans? Are customers largely salaried? Does this apply both in housing as well as on the auto front and other retail segments? Is there a way you can help us segment that?
So if you look at our book size, as far as home loans is concerned, around 60% is to the salaried class. So it is very safe and very low on delinquency. As far as personal loans is concerned, we have a product called custom corporate salary package. What we do, we offer special packages to the large corporates. All of the employees have to be on board with us, and we offer some concessions, some interest discounts, some margin discounts. All those are there in the package as well as insurance. So we are focusing on that particular segment to grow our personal loan book.
Mr. Narayan, is the housing market getting very competitive? One side you've got HDFC and SBI, then you've got a lot of smaller players who are in the same space. But is the housing finance market or HFC market getting very, very competitive?
So as far as interest rate is concerned, yes, it is competitive. But for State Bank of India, it is not just the rate of interest that should matter or that will matter. We are working a lot on the customer experience. We want to improve the experience of a customer when he takes a loan from State Bank of India, and also on the other processes. Wherever the pain points are there, we are addressing them, and we are going whole hog for making changes in our processes to make it seamless, to make it a customer-oriented journey, and to bring down the turnaround time for the customer. So definitely rate of interest is there, but that is not the factor. More important is the customer experience of getting a home loan from State Bank or from any bank for that matter. So we are working on that experience. We are also expanding our feet on street. We are looking at centralized processing centers in the smaller cities. So the whole experience of getting a loan is going to change very shortly. And we are completely digitizing our documentation process. All that is going to be a huge enabler, and that is why we have set ourselves a very ambitious target of reaching 7 trillion by 2024 and doubling the portfolio in another 5 years' time.
Okay, so let's take the target forward, what we got from your chairman, Mr. Khara, a few days ago when we spoke to him. It's a great target and it's a very ambitious target, but in order to reach that target, could you be getting into a price war in the home loan market? Because you have access to low-cost CASA, you have access to a branch network which others don't have. Could there be a situation where there could be perhaps a war in the home loan market? Because when SBI will acquire a customer, you will be able to monetize that customer by opening a savings account, by other fee-based income which others may not do. Are we staring at that kind of a disruptive market share war or gain by SBI?
No, certainly not. We are not looking at an interest rate war. That is what we keep discussing amongst ourselves. It has to be based on the customer experience, on the experience of the delivery that we give. That is the most important and more important part. Because if you ask me, a customer who takes a 50 lakh loan or a 25 lakh loan, he doesn't really care whether he gets 0.10% more or less interest rate. But definitely he cares for the fact that he's not made to run around to get a home loan. I think we are working on this piece far more than the interest rate. And yes, State Bank will always be more competitive because of our size, because of our access to low cost. That cannot be denied. That is one part, but the more important part is the delivery.
Mr. Narayan, right now interest rates are low, but they may not remain low for a long period of time. We are going through an unusual times where liquidity is more and deposits are available in abundance. At this rate, the affordability for a home buyer is higher. But when interest rates go higher, and I'm not talking about SBI, I'm talking about the industry in general, do you think somewhere there could be a risk of delinquency? We may not see it today, but in the last cycle when interest rates, they started moving up in a gradual manner and loans and the terms were getting repriced, it did impact delinquencies.
So we cannot keep our eyes off the asset quality. That is one very, very important thing for us. We have a large book size, we can't afford to get into this delinquency. So we are really seized of this, and almost on a daily basis, we are doing an outreach with the customers who are vulnerable. We are taking several proactive measures to make sure that the portfolio remains clean and healthy. But going forward, again, rate of interest, in the near term, I don't see it increasing. But maybe even if it increases in the next, say, 1 year or 1.5 years when the whole growth cycle comes back, then perhaps it will be true of all the banks. It's not just State Bank of India which will feel this heat. So it is very important to keep the portfolio clean and do the right kind of, select the right kind of borrowers. I think that is most critical. And we are working on our own underwriting and we have a very robust mechanism. And I don't see any challenge as far as NPA is concerned, if you ask me. Even the vulnerable accounts, we are reaching out to them and we are giving them solutions. Last quarter has been quite good in terms of slippage containment also. In fact, it was better than the pre-COVID of last year.
Saloni, such a pleasure having you on the show, and we should interact more often to try and understand how the home loan market for SBI is panning out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.